Hello, everyone. One of the questions that keeps coming up that people ask me is, how do you do so much? How are you always out there? And doesn't that inner critic stop you? That joyful inner critic. Who here doesn't have an inner critic? I would love to know if you don't have an inner critic, because I think everyone does. We've all got that voice saying, you're not good enough. You can't be like that. How can you say that? We all have that dialogue running, and it's what you choose to do with it. Now, sometimes that voice will win out and you won't do things. Other times you'll go, whatever, and you'll fight through it. And what I found in my experience is that I do have that inner critic a lot saying, you're not good enough. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. There's always someone better than you. And it does stop me sometimes. It does catch me. Mainly stops me in my relationships. That's where I have the biggest inner critic voice of, why would someone want to be friends with you? Like, what have you got? What have you got for anyone? Why would someone want to be in a relationship with you? Why would they want to stay in a relationship? You know, these voices. When it comes to work, I have the inner critic of, you're a fraud. Like, what do you have to give? What do you have to learn, to teach anyone? You're still learning. But we're all still learning, aren't we? That is the joy of life. We are all still learning. We are never done with this learning until the moment we die, and then we start all over again. So what I've learned and what I try to cultivate in my own life, in my own being, is to push through, and just to keep pushing through, and just to keep going. And for me, what I do is, if an idea comes, I just jump on it straight away, because if I have time to think too much, I won't do it. So like when I'm creating things, I just do it. I follow that flow of inspiration. I follow that flow of creativity in the moment, because in that moment, that's when the energy is there. And if you wait, if you think, then that dwindles and diminishes. So you're less likely to get things done. So it's harder if you're a perfectionist. I know lots of people who are perfectionists who can't just throw themselves in because they want everything to be just right before they put it out there. But what I've learned is, if you wait for just right, it never happens, because nothing is ever just right, ever. So you have to just go. You have to do, you have to push. You have to allow that momentum to move you. And that's kind of how I deal with that inner critic on my work front of things. But then on the personal side, you know, that's where it's the bigger challenge for me of, you know, not feeling good enough. And I think so many of us have that drama, that voice playing out of not good enough for whatever reason. And what I'm learning, what I'm doing, what I'm working on is just remembering that I'm part of this earth. And all I can do is be me, and all I can do is be the best me that I can be in the moment. And that's all I can do. And I am doing my best with the information that I've got in this moment. And sometimes I could do better, probably, but in that moment I couldn't. So that's that. So if we can stop beating ourselves up that we should have done something differently, or we should have tackled something differently, or if we'd done this, then this wouldn't have happened. Well, it did happen. The past has happened. And as the beautiful Stephen and Renata Ash said, the past has brought us to this point in time. Without the past, we would not be at this point now. So if we can look at that and we can go, okay, I'm here now. How can I find the most joy in my life? How can I find the most joy in each moment? And we may not remember this always when we're locked in our mind, in our thinking about whatever drama it is. Someone else is better, I'm not good enough. Does he fancy someone else? Whatever it is. If we can come back to that trusting, and this is what I try to think about. And again, Stephen and Renata Ash, you are amazing people. In fact, Stephen has an album out which Giles produced, which is called The Medicine Path. It is amazing, and it has all these songs that I'm always quoting and singing. So do get it. It's incredible. You can download it on Bandcamp, or you can buy it from worldhealingproject.com. It's incredible. And what I was about to say is, trust in life, trust that the way will be clear. Trust in life, trust that the way will be clear. And this is what I repeatedly sing. Trust in life, trust that the way will be clear. We cannot control what's going on. We can't control other people. We can't control anything except for our own reaction. Sometimes we can't even control that. So what can we do? We can let go. And I'm saying this as a reminder to myself as well. I am no way ever speaking from a pedestal or a perch looking down. I'm speaking from real life and experiences and what I'm trying to do. Trying to remember, to trust, just trust. Because the more we try and control, the harder it gets, Oh, it's hard when you try to control all these different balls. And ultimately, the more you try and control, the worse it bloody gets. We just have to surrender. Another song. No more holding on, let go, surrender and flow. No more holding on, let go, surrender and flow. I don't know who that one's by, but it was taught to me by the lovely Laura Cohen, who I'd love to spend some more time with singing, because she's got some incredible songs up her sleeves, which she's been teaching me, and I love it. That's one thing I would really like to get into more, that my inner critic has stopped me a lot, but it's not stopping me so much now. The last kind of year or so, I've really been pushing myself to break that inner critic, and that's my voice, just singing. It doesn't help having a music producer husband and lots of amazing singers that he's always working with, because it always makes me feel not such an amazing singer. And that's not his fault, that's no one's fault, that's my reaction, always thinking someone else is better. But this last year I've had this revelation of whatever, I'm not going to get hung up on this so much. I'm just going to sing because I love it. It really makes me happy singing. And Becky Bowen did a self-care, self-love retreat a few weeks ago. There's another one in January, which is on sale, I think, till the end of the week. So do book it up. It's going to be amazing. Self-care, self-love. Check it out. Becky Bowen. Anyway, she has Laura Cohen comes and does singing in it, and it's just such a powerful thing. All these different parts she teaches us, it's beautiful. I really love it. For my birthday I want to get myself a Remo medicine drum. I've been talking about it for a while. They're quite expensive, so I haven't got one, so I keep putting it off, but my birthday's in a few days and I do want to make that commitment to singing, because the drum will help with my singing, to really support that. So yeah, for me, I've been breaking through that inner critic with my singing by just going, you know what, it feels good. And the more we can line up with it feels good, what feels good to us, that's not hurting anyone else, that's a really important part. We don't want to do something that feels good to us but is hurting and shitting on everyone else around us. That's not good. That's not following, any good thing. We have to be integral, we have to be truthful and integral when we follow that joy and that inner light. But the more we can get into line with that space of joy, the more joy we can bring in, the more we get in line with that fear and that control. It doesn't bring anyone happiness. It's horrible. So, it's a challenge for all of us. We have to work on this inner critic. And a nice way to help work on the inner critic is every day to say 3 nice things to yourself. What do you appreciate about yourself? As I approach my 44th birthday, I'm thinking more about, what do I appreciate about myself as my skin gets more wrinkly, as I, get some more grey hairs, as I get that little bit older. I really am enjoying getting older. Sometimes it's hard when you look in the mirror and you go, my face should look like it's 27, but it doesn't anymore. But I like the feeling of having that wisdom and that experience. I like that. I like the kind of ripening, and I feel like as I get older, I'm getting richer in my being. I'm getting fuller. I'm becoming more me than I ever have been. And that's a really amazing thing, to stop giving to so many hoots about what other people think, and dropping into that feeling of power and alignment and truth. What is my truth in this moment? And this last year has been, it's been a journey for me with self-worth and feeling that I am good enough. I am good enough. I've really gone through it a lot in this last cycle. And hopefully I'm coming out of that now and coming more into, yes, I am good enough, and I am deserving of love, and I am deserving of care and kindness. And I am deserving of my own love and attention, as we all are. But we've got to wake up to that ourselves. So by having that moment, I try to do it when I first wake up, and I just lay there. I think about what I'm grateful for about myself, and I really try and tune into that feeling of like, what is this beautiful being doing that is great? Not all the things that I'm not doing that's so great, like not being the best person at cleaning and all these other things, not tuning into all of that. Although I cleaned our room so amazingly, it looks brilliant. It was a really good accomplishment. I'm really happy with that. I did that the other day. So it's about honouring those good things that you do, not constantly picking up on our flaws. Anyway, I hope that's been useful. Little chat about the inner critic, and I'll see you soon.